The Labour Party is stepping up its attacks on the Conservative Party over the gambling crisis. Apparently more people are in fact being investigated, and the Labour Party has written to the Gambling Commission, and Tony Lee and Nick Mason have both taken leave of absence from their roles. Tony Lee was the campaign director. Lee Mason was something to do with data, both highly important in the management of a general election campaign. The two people who are standing in parliamentary seats as candidates have not been disciplined, have not been sanctioned or thrown out of the party, and the impression is that not enough is being done, that this isn't being taken seriously enough by the Prime Minister, and as a result this problem grows. Pat McFadden, Labour's National Campaign Coordinator, has written to the Gaming Commission's Chief Executive Andrew Rhodes, quote, to make available the widest possible information about how wide the circle spreads. Because, of course, the big suspicion is that a cabinet minister has put down a bet, even as small as £20, having had insider knowledge that the election was being called early, and that immediately is very worrying. It could indeed be a criminal offence, and McFadden says in the public interest that the Gambling Commission makes public the names of other figures you are investigating. But it doesn't matter at this stage, because it's the inaction of Rishi Sunak which gives this story so much life. When a police officer has actually been suspended for suspicion, and two candidates who are also under suspicion of having done something inappropriate remain candidates, the optics make the Prime Minister look inadequate or uncaring. And given the fact that the Prime Minister was involved in Partygate, the Lib Dems are presenting this as an extension of Partygate, which I think is right. It's about one rule for them, another rule for us, and it's simply inappropriate. The former Justice Secretary, Robert Buckland, says where you've got a police officer who's been suspended, I think consistency should apply here. You've got employees, and I'm sure there's a mechanism that could allow their suspension. You've got candidates on the ballot paper, so it may be a matter for the whip to look at it once they've been elected, and whether they take the Conservative whip, that might be a way to enforce discipline once elected. But I don't think they're going to be elected, and the problem is not the future about whether they're going to be elected. The problem is that this is like a pall of suspicion, a pall of distrust that is now cast over the entire Conservative Party election because of a lack of action. And it doesn't matter whether that action is justified or not justified. It looks like inaction. It looks like a languid idea of procrastination. It just looks as if Rishi Sunak and the Conservative Party as a whole doesn't take it seriously. Anne Milton, who was a former Conservative MP, has said it confirms the views, that the Conservative Party hasn't upheld standards in public life. It's not behaved well. There appears to be no leadership from the top. Suspicion is the right thing to do while a suspension is the right thing to do while people are being investigated. It's harsh on people if the allegations are found not to be true, but that is what would happen in any other sphere of work. And the two candidates should be suspended. It means people will not be able to vote Conservative in those constituencies, but that is the price of restoring trust in a party that is fast losing the confidence of the country. And so for example, in the Rochdale by-election earlier this year, Labour disowned its candidate over comments made about Israel and about Jewish people. it's perfectly reasonable for the Conservative Party to do the same thing. And it's not enough for people like James Cleverly to say he's not in any way going to defend people who place bets. But it's only a small number of individuals. So far, only a small number of individuals have been identified. But it may prove to be a significantly larger group of people, and the suspicion is that it is. And George Osborne has said that about 40 people knew the date of the election in advance. About 40 people. And there's 4 people have already fallen under 5 people have already fallen under serious suspicion. That's a significant number. Now, did all of those people know the date of the election in advance? Or did they all know somebody who did know the date of the election in advance? And that's the problem. Even if they're wholly innocent, the whole thing stinks like yesterday's nappies. And it's something that any sensible leader could have avoided. And Rishi Sunak comes across as somebody who doesn't have control and doesn't have sense. And that is the problem.